All right, folks. Welcome back to Goal to Goal with Paul Picken and Lisa Johnson. Normally at this point in time, we'd be discussing the previous week's game. But taking a look back at it, we already kind of touched on it over on the side. I don't think any Dolphins fan wants to beat a dead horse around this. I know Adam Gase has come out and said play better or get benched. So I think he's covered it. We've covered it. No need to beat a dead horse. Let's look ahead to the Bengals. I mean, Lisa, are you with me on this?
Oh yeah, like I said, it's better to be lucky than good. So we're on to Cincinnati.
All right. So talking about Cincinnati here. There's 3 Dolphins expected to not play in this one, and I don't think it comes as any surprise to anybody at this point. Jordan Cameron suffered his 478th overall of his career. He'll be out for this Thursday. That's already been confirmed. Arian Foster is not expected to play, nor is Mike Pouncey, while Pouncey still recovers from his hip injury. For me personally, I don't see any of these as being devastating. And Lisa, I'll ask you for your opinion here in a second. But I know for me, Pouncey's steam has been lights out when he's been in there. Arian Foster, while he did look good in the first week, didn't really show anything super special at the running back position before he got hurt previously. And then Jordan Cameron, Deion Sims already outshone him when he got on the field. And do you see this any differently, Lisa?
No, I think, during Ryan Tannehill's press conference today talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and the loss of Jordan, he didn't seem too concerned about it. Deion Sims came in and did a really good job. So, like I said, just coming off a short week, game planning is going to be kind of hard. You're going to see a lot of probably the same game plan that we saw in the Browns game, hopefully with a better execution. Because, like I said, coming off a short week, you don't have a lot of time to install a whole game plan. So kind of expecting a little bit more. Seemed like Adam Gase was a little down in his presser. So these guys got to perform. As you said, Juwan James, got benched after that strip sack of Tannehill. So looking for him to rebound a little bit. What I'm curious, Paul, is going off of Gase and the way it is changing here in Miami. It's basically you do your job or you get benched. How do you think the guys will respond? Do you think he'll get any backlash from the guys, or do you think it'll be a positive thing that, we need to start doing our jobs?
I think you're going to see a little bit of both. I think you may see a few guys get benched and respond in super negative fashion. Pout and sulk and kick the dirt. But you're going to see some others respond and come back with a vengeance. Hopefully, Juwan James has it in him to do that because he could be a very good option at right tackle, even though I did point at him in the preseason as somebody who may lose his starting job based on being average, which is okay. But I honestly like the little bit I've seen of Billy Turner, not just in this game, but in the past over at right tackle. And, I don't think it'll stop with him. And I'm okay with that. There have been far too many players out there not doing the right things and not fully playing with heart. And I'll take a player playing with heart with slightly less skill than a player playing half-ass. We all saw what happens when a player plays half-ass in the past. We've had Mike Wallace.
Exactly.
We've had Brandon Marshall. We've had Carlos Dansby. Granted, whether some of them are excelling now or not, they're all players that we saw loaf and not do the right things out on the field and cost the team games. And I'd rather have somebody out there trying their ass off, playing good, hard football. I support what Gase is saying here. But regardless, let's look at the Bengals injuries. Drake Kirkpatrick may be out, which definitely hurts the Bengals over on the defensive side of the ball. And there are reports actually surfacing that, believe it or not, Kevin Coyle, who I know all the Dolphins fans are familiar with, is the defensive backs coach for the Bengals. And that room in practice, in team meetings, etc., is getting very disgruntled because they don't feel he's putting them in position to play to win. They feel he's putting them in position to play to not lose, which that's not the Bengals style of play. Good, bad, or indifferent. They're a team that their DBs take risks, which pays off sometimes and doesn't pay off at others. And if they're down a man and they're being put in position to not succeed and they're questioning their coach, that could be a very susceptible area of the defense. Even with Vontaze Burfict returning this week, which scares me in the middle of that defense. What do you think there, Lisa?
Whew, I tell you, he's a heck of a player. Kevin Coyle, I'll tell you, deja vu for us, right? Been there, done that. That was one of the biggest things down here, putting players in positions. Certainly you have to think that Adam Gase is going to exploit that. Like I said, I know going into a short week, playbook's going to be, pretty much what we saw Sunday, I'm afraid, and people, our players have to step up, and I think we just take advantage of it and attack type style offense. I'd love to see an attack offense this week. I'd love to see our line get into those trenches, get these running backs. Gase has already proven that not depending on which running back's going to run hard. I thought Kenyon Drake was running really hard, like he was really fighting for extra yards. Then we saw him rotated with Peed. The Dolphins got Peed Sunday, so that was really good to see. So I'm looking for the rotation of our running backs coming in fresh. We can really take advantage of that defense ball if we can, rotate our fresh running backs and get off the trenches pretty good. So I think we need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and hopefully Jay Ajayi finds a way to use that final play last week to evade it, really push forward here and get out of this mopey rut that he's been in and play well.
Right.
He's a guy that at times last year did look special. If he's able to find that again and really combine for a three-headed monster attack with Isaiah Peed and Kenyon Drake, and I will say, a guy I was low on in the preseason as well, but when he's gotten the opportunity, has looked faster than I've ever seen him before and more decisive than I've ever seen him before in Damian Williams. So there's a lot that could potentially take off there.
Excellent point. I totally forgot about Williams there. Excellent point. Like I said, it's so easy to get confused with him the way he rotates them. But you're right, Damian Williams. I believe he had a score too Sunday. So you're right.
Receiving a touchdown. Now, looking at the other aspects on offense, Deion Sims has already shown a propensity to have better hands than our receiving tight end in Jordan Cameron, but also blocks a lot better. And he'll be getting the start this week. We'll probably see a little bit of Marquise Gray, who did shine a bit in the preseason. And really, this receiving core could have a really good day against the Cincinnati secondary if the line is able to do their jobs and not allow the defense to push them back. I really think this could be a big day in the passing game, both with the running backs and the receivers. Devontae Parker and Tannehill have really been building up some chemistry. Kenny Stills has been showing up a little more each week since the disaster in week 1. And really, Jarvis Landry is second in the NFL in total yards for a receiver if you include his rushing yards. There's a lot to like in this receiving core. I don't know. What's your viewpoint on that?
I think it's right up in the line. I think, when you see Adam Gase, what he was talking about today, there's like 5 or 6 things that have to happen for Ryan Tannehill to go through his progressions. Those things haven't been happening the last couple of games. Those are the things we need to clean up. If we can clean these up, execute, you are spot on. We should have some pretty good receiving marks, especially with Devontae Parker. Like you said, they're starting to click a little bit. Jarvis Landry, always that great safety blanket, great route runner. Kenny Stills right there in it. We have a lot of places we can exploit this defense. So if we can get a play action pass going, get some kind of running game, that'll wide open for Ryan Tannehill. So I'm with you. I'm looking for a much better execution this Thursday night. We're going to be in our Orange Rush uniforms, so it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's. I'm definitely looking forward to it on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball has me a little bit worried here. We struggled in coverage. I don't think our defensive backs have been put in position to succeed, even though Rashad Jones is probably playing the best safety of his life and probably one of making a case for being one of, if not the best safeties potentially in Dolphins history when all is said and done.
Absolutely.
Which is no small statement for a team that has insane safeties, including like you look at Jake Scott, who is the only person that could potentially put the number 13 on aside from Marino.
Right.
And it's sad that they haven't really been put in position. I know Vance Joseph, but I know he is a first-time defensive coordinator. I know he's going to have some growing pains, but he's got to get his stuff together here and really figure out how to defend against both the run and the pass with the players that he has. Are there some shortcomings? Yes. There are some areas that need improvement, but he's got to work with what he's got. You play with the pieces you have. You scheme to the strengths and weaknesses of your players. And Miami went up against some slower receivers the past few weeks, but this coming week, they're going to have their work cut out for them. They have a fairly mobile quarterback in Andy Dalton, which I know his mobility is underrated with a lot of folks. You don't think of him as a mobile quarterback. I believe he had somewhere in the neighborhood of 35-ish yards rushing in this past week's game. You've got Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard, who, if they can get loose, can do some devastating things. And then you've got some receiver named A.J. Green, who's probably one of the best, if not the best, in football. So there's a lot for this defense to worry about. And if they're not able to get that pressure going up front, this game could drastically change. Even though the Bengals have the talented running attack, I will tell you this. If the Dolphins can get out to a lead early, the Bengals are very quick to go to a one-dimensional passing attack.
Right.
And that's Miami's best chance to be able to shut them down. Believe it or not, a vertical attack featuring A.J. Green, their best chance is to make them go to that as a one-dimensional offense. Because then the defensive line can pin their ears back and get after Dalton. Then the defensive backs know what's coming. And that's the Dolphins' best chance for success, in my opinion. What about you? What concerns you the most in this matchup?
Our cornerbacks. I would love to see our cornerbacks get up in press coverage a little bit. My take on the last couple games is we're playing so far off. It's almost like they're getting scared to get beat. I would like to see them come up to the line, jam AC Green a little bit, give our defense a little bit of time to get to Dalton. It just seems like we're playing 5-6 yards off these receivers, Paul, these last couple games. Our tight ends are running wide open down the field. I'm not sure if that's just missed opportunities with our players, if they're in the wrong positions. I know Jenkins took a horrible angle the last couple of games on these tight ends running wide open. We need that. To me, I think we need to get up and press a little bit. Give our line a little bit more time to get to Dalton. Can't just let the guy do a 3, 4, 5-step drop and pick us apart. And that seems what's been going on lately with us. And, our run defense, we're almost dead to last in the NFL. We've got to get, better at our run defense. We got to get better all the way around. I mean, there were guys running wide open in these last couple games, and you can't do that with the Cincinnati Bengals team. They'll pick us apart. So my personal thing, Paul, I'd love to get a little bit more pressure on the tight end wide receiver, jam these guys up at the line of scrimmage a little bit. That's just me. I mean, I don't know if that's Vance just planned for this week with him. I just don't like playing off receivers, especially a receiver like Green. He'll do a juke and he'll be gone. So I'd love to see him get up a little bit and press.
I agree. It's Byron Maxwell's supposed to be a very good press man corner. And Xavier Howard is supposed to be a very good press man corner, and that's part of what they practice. And you don't get two press man corners and play them 10 to 15 yards off the ball. You just don't do that.
You can't do it. You're right.
No.
It can't happen.
Exactly. You have to actually try to coach them to their strengths and weaknesses. If you can, they can actually be fairly successful. And I'll be honest, I love Bobby McCain. I love him in the slot, not as a starter. One guy that I've compared him to in the past year, and let me know what you think, I've compared him a lot to Terrell Buckley, where he's essentially that quick little risk-taking corner that sometimes he's going to make that ridiculously huge play. Sometimes he's going to allow that ridiculously huge play, but he's going to try his ass off either way. And I love that, even though it's going to frustrate me at times. And I'm hopeful that he can get a pick here and really maybe turn the tide because he does have good hands with that chance. What's your final prediction for this game?
If we can get it rolling and exploit some of their things, I hate the short week, to be honest with you. I think it really goes towards to the Bengals just because of, short week, they're home, they have a little bit longer to game plan. Us coming off of, 4 days, pretty much going to have the same kind of game plan. I'm kind of expecting Bengals 27, the Dolphins 10.
Well, we're both going to be pessimistic this week then. You a little bit more than me, thank God. I love my team. I do. I hope I'm wrong. But I think, and I put it this way as well over on another show, I think it's going to be 24-17 the Bengals. And I think this is the game where, you've heard the old adage, it's always darkest before the dawn. I really think this is the game that the Dolphins do fall apart a little bit, but also start to either get it this week or in the week and a half following, leading up to the next game. Because I really do think Jason's that guy that if push comes to shove, he's going to turn around and start sending messages to players, and not gently anymore. And I think we're going to see a few guys get yanked out of this game and possibly go back in, possibly not. But I think as the game progresses, it's going to start out rough, get a little rougher, and then some of those guys that get a message sent during the game are going to come back in with a vengeance. But it's going to be a good chance to see how the players respond. Anything else before we sign off?
It's going to be a good test for us. I agree. No, I'm right on with you. I think, like you said, this is a great test. But as fans, we have to be patient. I mean, this is only game 4. This is our new offense, new defense. I mean, these players are learning with these coaches. And, I know there's been a lot of negativity surrounding what's been going on down here right now. But, you have to be patient and give this guy a chance. I believe in him. Like I said, I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, Paul. I've said that from the beginning. I'm ready for him to some kind of spark of saying, wow, I never saw that play before. Oh, that was creative. I'm ready for the creative Adam Gase, Paul. I want to see the creative side of him come out.
Yeah, and I think we will. I think he's got to get a little more of the players buying in. He's got to get a little more experience under his belt. That will come. I'm willing to wait it out because I do think he can be that guy. And there's got to be some rough patches. There's going to be some frustrating patches. We've all got to kind of bear with it and wait it out, unfortunately. Remember,
we'll get everybody through it, Paul. We'll get everybody through it.
Well, remember this. Bill Belichick started out as a head coach in Cleveland. And he did not have the immediate success there. They pulled the ripcord as he got the experience level, and it came back to bite them. And while I may not be saying Adam Gase will be, and I'm sorry, Dolphins fans, I'm sorry, I love Don Shula. I do. I respect him. I grew up watching him coach. Bill Belichick may be the greatest football mind I've ever seen, and it sucks because he coaches the Patriots.
It does suck. It sucks. It does.
He may be.
It does.
And I'm not saying Adam Gase will be the next Bill Belichick. I'm not saying he'll be the next Don Shula. But I do think he's got potential to be a very damn good head football coach, which I'll take every day of the week. So we've got to let him grow. We've got to show patience. And it is what it is right now, unfortunately.
Yep.
So anyway, Lisa, it's been fun this week. I'm glad we're back here in the air.
Yes, sir.
And everybody else, thanks for listening.
Absolutely. We will catch you guys next week.